Okay, this is the video review for The Spy Gone North. This is the newest Korean movie, just opened today actually, so I went on opening day. I've been looking forward to this. Also really wanted a palate cleanser after seeing Inrong, so the disappointment that was. So this movie, The Spy Gone North, directed by Jong-bin. He's also the director of Nameless Gangster. That was a big one. And he was the director of another movie called Gunda, which I think the English title is Rage, something like that. And I think he directed a movie called Beastie Boys, right. Okay, so he did direct Beastie Boys. Wow, The Spy Gone North. This is another movie from South Korea with an all-star cast. So this movie is pretty much male-dominated. You'll notice from the poster it's an all-male cast. So we've got Hwang Jung-min, we've got Lee Sung-min, Choi Jin-woong, and Ju Ji-hoon are in this movie. This is a straight-up spy movie, obviously from the title. The Korean title is not The Spy Gone North. It's I think it's kind of hard to translate, but gongjak means something like working together, or some kind of a production. Kind of hard to translate, obviously, and I think it's actually a really good spy movie. And I just want to keep saying spy movie or drama because this movie has very little action. This movie is actually based on a true story, which I knew very little about until watching this movie. It's very interesting. The true story is one of those that's very hard to believe because it's so crazy. But in this movie, the South Korean government spy agency has a plan to send a spy up north, Hwang Jung-min, and under the codename Black Venus, where he is to pretty much make connections with North Korean elites. Their job as North Korean elites with very, very close connections to Kim Jong-il, the leader at the time. Their job mainly is to create revenue for the regime, and they do that by these secret operations with traders that aren't really afraid of getting their hands dirty. So they're looking for ways to make money, and so Hwang Jung-min goes up there under the guise of being this international trader, and he's got some products that he wants to do business with. But anyways, Hwang Jung-min ultimately is looking for any type of evidence or information base surrounding the North's nuclear programs. At this time, without giving too much of the plot away, there are, and this is all on record, so if you don't want to know too much about the plot, skip forward in the video real quick. Basically, this South Korean spy agency had its own, besides the agenda that I just told you about, another hidden agenda with a goal of influencing the presidential election at that time. And how this plays into the story and sort of disrupts the overall mission, I'll leave that for you guys to find out when you do watch it. So let's go into this movie. I think as a spy movie, this movie works really well. With that stated, this is a long movie. It's almost 2.5 hours, and it is predominantly talking. Not that that's bad, but if that's not your kind of thing, if you're looking for an action movie, stay away from The Spy Gone North. This is a slow building, and it's a long setup for what turns out to be a pretty good payoff, but it's not mind-blowing. Acting is on point. However, like I said, it is long conversations, and I felt like a lot of these scenes were pushed a little bit too long, and it was a little bit too explanatory. But on the other hand, it did set up. It really was trying to set up the whole relationship between the Hwang Jung-min's character and pretty much the key North Korean character, official played by Lee Sung-min. Now, another thing that makes this movie not super mind-blowing is that we have had in the past movies with a similar overall kind of theme of the North and South finding some kind of common, connection based on they're both Korean, right? So yes, they're divided, but it's like in, movies like Joint Security Area, JSA. Also, we had this summer blockbuster movie, Confidential Assignment, the other year, a couple years back, that had another element of the South working with the North under, secret kind of spy mission. That one was much more blockbuster. So The Spy Gone North, this is along the lines of, say, like a Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. A little bit more, I would say, focused and the narrative than Tinker Tailor, but very, very little heightened drama or action in this movie. So just want to get that out of the way. This is almost 2.5 hours, slow-moving spy drama. I thought one of the coolest things about this movie was when Hwang Jung-min's character actually does go north to North Korea. I can't say for sure. They probably did not really shoot up there, but this movie really makes you feel like you're in North Korea. And there are a couple scenes where these guys are sitting right across the table from the leader at the time, Kim Jong-il, and it's pretty intense. And I thought they did a really good job of creating the atmosphere of being in, that environment, which we've all seen in various documentaries and things like that. Just the weirdness that's in the North, and sort of the wonder, the awe. These huge buildings, these massive government operations, secret areas. That part to me was the coolest aspect of this movie. The spy stuff is not mind-blowing, but it's good. So I would say overall this is a very solid, I hate to keep repeating this, solid spy movie / drama. This movie has several very awesome moments in it, especially leading up into the final act, but as a whole, it just didn't have enough, what I would say, just gripping moments, and the energy connecting scene to scene is a little bit lost at times. As I said before, like in films like JSA or Confidential Assignment, I did like how this movie showed the relationship, a very odd relationship develops between Hwang Jung-min, the spy, and his counterpart that he's kind of working with. This movie, the plot gets very complex because as they're looking for clues for the weapons development things, they learn it's not that simple. They actually come up with some other ideas. One of them is to create sort of an advertising agency. Makes the plot a little more complex, but it is grounded in reality. So it is pretty much related to what happened. This movie does feature a lot of real documentary footage of the president at that time in the election, public reaction, newspaper clippings, things like that were in the media surrounding this event. I'm not sure how much of this was when this all became public knowledge, but it's a very interesting, true story event. Other movies like this that are based in modern Korean history that kind of have these political scandals that I really liked. One of them, The President's Last Bang. That's an awesome fictionalized account of a real event that took place in Korean history that involved the assassination of one of the presidents. So this is another wild story that takes place in the relatively recent history of modern Korean society. So it's a big story. I would recommend checking this movie out for fans of spy dramas, or if you're very curious on a crazy event that kind of took place in Korean history. It isn't going to be the most entertaining ride if you're just looking for kind of an interesting world story, because you might get the same effect from reading about the Black Venus operation in 1995-97-ish was the time schedule of this movie. So you could read about that online on Wikipedia or whatnot, but this movie does a pretty good job of fictionalizing that account. So The Spy Gone North, very solid movie, very solid overall. And like I said, the highlights were when it actually does take the audience and the characters into North Korea. Pretty cool stuff. Not a lot. We haven't seen a lot of that, you know, just on the big screen before. So, Gongjak, check it out. I do think this is coming to several international territories. Just make sure you go to the bathroom before it starts, because it is a long one, and without a lot of big action spectacles, it might feel like a little bit longer than it even is. So I rated this movie a 7 out of 10, and a lot of that is the acting and the fact that it was based on such an epic story. So there were some parts that I thought could have been trimmed up. So check out The Spy Gone North if you have the patience for a pretty gripping spy drama movie. Just keep watching movies. If you guys like this video review, if you want to see more like this, upcoming newer Korean movie reviews, just leave a comment down below. Like the video, that really helps. Or you know, if you want to stay tuned for other videos and get notifications on when I post, just subscribe and you'll get notified. So I got a lot of Blu-ray unboxings, you know, whatever. So stay tuned. This is Tyler from the Movie Beat, and we'll see you soon.